Hi, and welcome to episode 22 of M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers podcast. I'm Jamie, the hand dyer behind M1 Yarns, and you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, and everywhere else as M1 Yarns, and you can find my website at m1yarns.com. I'm coming to you today from Metro Detroit, Michigan, where I live with my husband and our two dogs and a whole bunch of yarn. And today I'm sipping on some Tazo passion tea with a little bit of hot lemonade added in for a nice little, I don't know. Have you ever had lemonade in your tea? So good. Anyway, let's start with what I'm wearing. This is a knitting podcast in case you didn't know by now. I am wearing my fresh off the needles Kaleidoscope cardi. This is a pattern by Knit Collage, and this was my last finished object of 2021. I literally finished it with 3 hours to spare in the day, and it is knit with a whole bunch of scraps. I'm going to get closer so you can see. A whole bunch of scrap yarn. The fuzzy that you see throughout is Angora that I repurposed from a vest that I knit last year but ripped out because I didn't really love how it was draping. And then also throughout, and it's really hard to tell what's what in specific, but there is like right here, this bluish streak is one. There's yarn from hand spun by Little Fern Fibers, who Ellie is her name, and she has a lovely podcast herself. So check her out on YouTube as Little Fern Fibers. She took 3 sandwich bags of my scrap yarn and spun it into 3 like 4-ounce bulky skeins. Multicolor, just gorgeous, core spun. And so I worked that throughout. And this is exactly how I wanted this project to turn out. So I'm really quite pleased. It's super warm. I mean, I could literally probably wear it as a coat outdoors on, you know, most mild winter days, I would say. So that was a really fun project. It knit up pretty quickly. And I would definitely knit the pattern again. In fact, it's a great scrap buster. Speaking of scrap busting, if you saw the last episode, which if you're a new viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. But if you saw the last episode, I announced a new make-along for this year, which we're going to kick off January 15th. It'll run through March 19th. There will be prizes. And I'm running it on Instagram under hashtag Stash Bust MAL 2022, which I'll put here. And the whole premise is knit or crochet any pattern with yarn that you already have in your stash. So pre-2022 yarn. And so I'm going to get back to that make along in a few minutes. But basically this, you know, this could be a great stash buster. Throughout, I held varying skeins of yarn. I really wish I took a picture of all the yarns I used before I used it. But there were a lot of places throughout here where I would hold 4 or 5 strands of like fingering weight, DK, and lace all held together to create a new yarn. And so that was really fun. I think the boho look is kind of cool, something different. And so, yeah, I love scrappy sweaters. I knit one every year. I'll insert a photo of a couple scrappy sweaters that I've knit in the past. But I think it's a good way to clear out your yarn stash and make space for new things that bring you joy and repurpose things that otherwise would not, you know, kind of have a purpose or a life apart from being like maybe a little scrap ball of yarn. So I'll return to the make along chat in a moment, but I wanted to share with you guys something real quick that I just added to the shop. And if you are a subscriber to my newsletter, you knew about this last week if you read the newsletter. But many of you have enjoyed over the last, has it been 2 months? So 2 months ago, I released a new product in the shop called S.O.S cords. They're stitch holders that are reusable rather than using scrap yarn, and they're really fast for moving your stitches, like when you're knitting top down and you split for the sleeves, or maybe you want to try it on and you need to put the torso stitches on hold. These cords make your life super easy. So I have a previous version that's been in the shop for a couple months, and those are ideal for US 8 and up, and I've used them all the way up to size 17 needles for this project, and they work great. But I wanted something that would work great for those of us who like to knit with US 7 and smaller, and so I've come up with what I am calling S.O.S light cords, and they're on pre-order right now. So if you place your order, they will ship mid-January, which we're kind of getting close to there anyway by the time I release this episode. They're available in 2 colors. Black, which you can actually kind of see, it's a hollow cord. And then I also have orange, which these are going to be limited edition only. So each set comes with, this is the orange set, and this is the black set. Each set comes with 3 cords. One 60-inch cord, which is great for your torso stitches, and 2 30-inch cords, which are good for your sleeve stitches. And I have a whole video, which I'll try to link to right here, on how you use them, because a lot of people have commented like, hey, it's tough to visualize what you're talking about. So I made a little how-to tutorial, but these are on pre-order, and then they'll be just regular order in my shop, although these are limited edition. And yeah, so those are new and exciting, and I really love them. And let's see, I've actually cast on 2 projects this year. One, today is January 6th, so to already be in 2 projects for the year, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So the first one I cast on this year, this is also a stash buster. This yarn is Life in the Long Grass, and I have it all kind of divided, numbered, and put in sandwich baggies to keep myself organized, because it's a fade, and it's a little bit of a hot boiling mess that I'm trying to keep under control. But this is the 9 to 5, let me tuck in my ends so we don't look quite so crazy. This is the 9 to 5 bodysuit by Mezzo Makes, I believe her Instagram handle is. And her name, which I have to look at the pattern to make sure I'm pronouncing it, is Kate, I don't know if it's Garden or Gardine, Gardin, of Mezzo Makes. And I'll insert a photo from her sample so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to make mine long sleeve because I could wear long sleeve like 9 months of the year. And I have enough yarn for it. And I actually think I'm going to have enough yarn left over. I have 6 colors that I'm fading is the word I'm looking for. I think I'm going to have enough yarn left over that I could probably make some leggings, which is also on my plan for my knitting plans for the year. So that's cruising along. I just split for the sleeves. Oh, I could show you These are the regular S.O.S cords. So you can kind of compare the thickness. I'll insert a photo here comparing the two so you can kind of see. But, you know, like having the right tool for the job, whether large or small, makes all the difference. So then, because that project is going to get a little bit complicated with like waist shaping, hip shaping, the whole crotch thing, since it's a bodysuit, I needed like a mindless project. So this is also scrap busting. I tell you, I am making space, using my skeins, and making room for future exciting skeins. This is and let me insert a photo here because I don't think I have one on this page of the pattern. Not like a modeled photo. This is the Cooma cowl, and this is by Laura Dobratz, I believe is how you pronounce it. She is the owner of the Four Pearls yarn shop in Florida. I forget what city in Florida, but her daughter is a yarn dyer. She was selling these kits at the yarn shop in Saugerties, New York that I went to. I'm drawing a blank on the name. The perfect blend. I went to that yarn shop when I was out in New York for Rhinebeck, and I bought this kit. It comes with a skein of mohair and 5 minis. And it becomes a cowl. And so I'm loving it so far. It's pretty mindless. And it's just what I needed. You know how like sometimes you like to keep a hat or a sock or something really simple just for when you just need some basic knitting. And this is a project bag that I bought while at Rhinebeck. This is Madder Root. And if you know me, you know that I'm currently obsessed with plaid. I got that project bag. And I also got this at Indie Entangled from beautiful Syster, who's out of Chicago. And this plaid I'm also obsessed with. I'm going to get back to what's in this bag in a minute. But speaking of plaid, FYI, I've already told... Who did I tell? Oh, it was last year's Advent customers. I got inspiration for this year's Advent, and it's going to be a plaid, like a tartan theme. I'm already working on it. It's going to be really exciting. So all my plaid stuff is just bringing me so much joy. So speaking of the project bag and the stash busting make-along, apart from all my stash busting projects that I currently have, since the make-along kicks off January 15th, I thought it would be really fun if you guys helped me pick which project I'll cast on January 15th for the make-along. So I got out a few project bags, which I've already caked up all the yarn. I've purchased and printed the patterns and put them in the project bag with the yarn. And now it's just a matter of deciding what to make. So this yarn is, I know this is my own hand dyed, and it was like a test dye. Let's see. The mohair was for my dog's crying. He's so stressed today for no reason. Jack, this was for an online event that, oh God, I love this yarn. I need to bring this colorway back. This was from last year, and I've had it in my stash. And I really, really love this. So this is Virtual Escape. And this was yarn dye that I was playing with and never added it to the shop, but feel like I really should because I'm obsessed. So I'm gonna hold these together. So with this yarn, I'm planning to make the Sorel sweater by Woolen Pine, but I thought this would be, so I actually think I'm gonna have to go down a few needle sizes because the yarn I'm trying to use is a little bit bulkier, but I think it will be a fun fit. So that's option one. That's the Sorel sweater with those, what do you want to call it? Like earth tones. Option number two is, what was this yarn from? This is the same colorway as the mohair I just showed you, but on a gray yak base. So you can see some of the rust and like they almost look like a deep purple black, I want to say. I don't know if it's focusing fully. Anyway, that is on a singles base, and this I would hold it with, I'm looking at my labels. This is my Surrey Silk Street, which is a Surrey silk lace weight blend, and this is the colorway Latte. So I would hold these together, and with that, I plan to make City Limits. I'll insert a photo by Tanis Lavallee. I have wanted to knit this sweater for ages. And the third sweater option to pick from, do I not have the pattern in here? Go figure. I will insert a photo. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a turtleneck. And this was the yarn from my zipper sweater that I knit just before Rhinebeck and wore it at Rhinebeck. One strand of mohair held with one strand of worsted weight merino, both in my colorway Wine. And then I would hold it with this. Let me get my yarn organized here. This is fingering weight merino from a friend of mine's animal rescue farm in Michigan. This is undyed. It's just the beautiful natural chocolatey color of the sheep. So I want to hold these together to create like a bulky weight, like a really heavy, chunky turtleneck. So that's option three. I think they're all great winter sweaters. So let me know what you think I should cast on, and comment below, please, what you plan to cast on for the make-along. So there will be prizes. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but they're going to be fun and wonderful. And with that, let's see. I have a little list I'm looking at. Oh, let me tell you an acquisition I got this week. Okay, so if you're like me and you knit your sleeves or socks on 9-inch circulars, I have enjoyed my ChowGoo 9-inch sets. These are great. And I even like these cases. They're great. They're portable. They hold everything that you need. But where I started thinking I wanted to do something different was I wanted, like, this set was 0 to 4, including like a 1.5 and a 2.5 needle size. And this set was 5 to 8. And I wanted them all together because sometimes, you know, you're not quite sure like what needle you're going to need, or maybe you're changing from a 5 to a 4 or whatever. I wanted them all together. And I did not love the inner insert of each where the needles were sitting in this. They seemed just a little bit loosey-goosey, and they would, like, if I wasn't careful when I pull it out, the needles would all fall out of this pouch. And that just was not working for me. So I don't know where I heard about this, but I learned about a maker on Etsy named JessabelleB. She's out of Quebec, and she sent me this little card with my order. So cute. And she wrote a note, "Hi Jamie, Thanks again for your order. Happy knitting, JessabelleB. I got this gorgeous roll. Let's see how I have Angora floating on it. This little, like, tool roll holds both sets of needles, all the cords. You can see these are the shorties, and then these are the longer ones in the set. So I have from 0 to 8 up here, and then you have room on this end for like a pencil, maybe if you keep one of those repair crochet hooks, maybe something else. And then I have the little rulers and needle gauges that come with the ChowGoo needle sets. I just tuck those in there. And then in this pouch, which opens with Velcro, I have the little, oh, this is an extra needle I have. The little bags with the, the goodies that come with your needle sets. So now I have them all together, and this is totally, just getting these back organized. This is exactly what I needed. I love this, and it's like a nice heavy canvas. I really want one of these, but larger, to put all my knitting needles together, like all of them. I have the Luca set, the Knitter's Pride Gingers, and then a ChowGoo set. And I would like to keep all my knitting needles together. So this is like totally making me happy. JessabelleB, I'll include her info in the down bar. But let's see what else. Okay, so apart from those projects, I have been doing a little practice on my Tunisian crochet skills. I think I forgot to mention on the last episode, let me see if I can get this without dropping it. I purchased, this is the great thing about crochet, because your hook can fall out and your stitches aren't going to go everywhere. Okay, I'll show you this in a minute. So my good friend Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts recently released her first book, and this book, the quality of both the material and the writing and photographs are just gorgeous. I mean, everything is like, I'll just give you a quick glance. Step-by-step instructions, beautiful patterns included. You learn so much in this book. How to cast on, how to do, some basic stitches, how to cast off, how to seam. Amazing, amazing things. So I've been working through this book. Got myself a Tunisian crochet hook set. I got bamboo because I'm a loose knitter, and I figured if I get bamboo, that will help me have a little bit of like grip. So my yarn ball is totally falling apart. But this was my little, so I've been like doing little practice swatches, and let me figure out which side is which. I know this. This was my latest. So this is kind of a combination of a few different rows of different types of Tunisian crochet stitches, but much easier than I thought it would be. I really think I hyped it up in my mind that it was going to be hard, and it's not. As Gigi of Gigi Made It says, it's not hard, it's just new. So if you've never tried Tunisian crochet, I highly recommend it. We had Natalie of Detroit Knots on a podcast episode, I want to say episode 8 or 9. I'll insert it here. She is a fantastically talented Tunisian crochet designer, and a lot of her patterns are motivating me to learn the skills that I'll need to make them. So yeah, so I've been working my way through this amazing workbook and am really enjoying it. So besides my knitting projects, Tunisian crochet is definitely on the docket for this year. So let me look at my list to see if I missed anything. I have 2 interviews already lined up for later this month that I'll be bringing to you forthcoming, and a 3rd one that we're working to schedule something. So I'm super excited about taking this show on the road. And to all my patrons, thank you for supporting financially so that we can make that a possibility, a reality, I should say. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find me on Patreon at just search M1 Yarns. And that's all I have for you this week. So thanks for joining me. I hope that your knitting and crochet and Tunisian crochet projects are keeping you happy and cozy, and that you're staying healthy. And I'll see you next time.